nearly a third of the House GOP conference will get a first-hand look at the growing border crisis when they visit Eagle Pass, Texas, crossing after a record 302,000 migrant surge last month and over 7 million since Biden took office. As Biden's DOJ asked the Supreme Court to, get this, let them remove razor wire put up by Texas authorities, and it's cost them $11 billion to do what the federal government won't do, by the way. Our next guest is one of those GOP lawmakers visiting the border today, joining us live from Texas with a preview. Congressman, you've been down before. You don't need a primer. But what you need is what you have. You need specifics on what you need in this deal on the border, correct? On asylum changes, border finishing, the technology. Tell us what you're looking for.
Well, we need the legislation we passed several months ago. That would fix the problem. But if they're not going to do that, then just do one sentence change. That sentence is real simple. No money can be used to process or release into the country any new migrants. Stop the problem right now. Just say we're not going to call a complete timeout because, Brian, understand the magnitude of the problem is, as you said, 300,000 last month, a record month. But the Biden presidency is on pace. At the end of his 4 years, he will have allowed into the country, when you talk about the gotaways and everything else, 12 million illegals, 12 million migrants coming to the country. That's the equivalent of the entire population of Ohio, the 7th largest state. That is the magnitude of the problem. And of course, we know the cause. The cause is the Biden administration and their crazy policies that they adopted on day one. And it continues today with the DOJ saying, take down the razor wire, Texas, just let them keep coming in. We want to go even more than 12 million, for goodness sake. So the solution is really, I think, one sentence. The question is, do Republicans have the will to fight for that one simple sentence, which says we're going to fix this problem? Right.
You actually, and you know this better than anyone, you have something you rarely have. You have leverage because he wants the money for the wars. For Ukraine, potential war in Taiwan and Israel. And a lot of you guys are on the same page as that. Would you say not until the border's fixed, including guys like Lindsey Graham who think all three conflicts are worth financing? He knows nothing changes without that, and he could lose all three during the next year. Here's what President Biden said last night. Listen. He says he needs the money. He goes, get him the money to protect the border.
It's not the money, it's the will. Remember what he did on January 20th, 2021. He changed the three policies from the Trump administration that were working. He said no more building the wall, no more remain in Mexico while we evaluate your claim. And he said when we get you, when you come in, you will be released. No detention, no detaining these individuals, no returning them to their native country. So when you make those three changes, there people who can fault people for wanting to come to the greatest country ever. They just keep coming. And as I said, the magnitude of this problem, the country now fully understands. Even Democrat mayors in Chicago and New York understand how serious this problem is. Will we have the will to do it? Will Republicans say, no, you're not getting the money for X unless you do that one sentence or implement House Bill 2, the legislation we passed, which would in fact would deal with the problem.
I know you've been the House getting briefed regularly, but right now on the Senate side, Lankford's leading the Republican cause. He said they met throughout the break except for Christmas and Christmas Eve. Have you been briefed on anything encouraging or discouraging?
No, I mean, we follow the briefings in the press. I talked with, Speaker Johnson last night because he's down here leading this trip. But we haven't got anything new. We'll see what they come up with. But understand, we're not going to fund Ukraine unless it actually solves the problem on the border. I think the simplest solution is the one I've just offered, which is that one basic sentence. Just call it time. And the president can do this on his own. We know he won't. So we should fight for that one sentence. We should fight for H.R. 2. That's how we solve this problem.
But see, Congressman, I got to let you go here, too. I know you got to get out to the border. But the thing that's different is you have a war between the cities and states. He never anticipated a blue state and a red state fighting, but really on the same page when it comes to the border needs to be enforced. That's additional leverage that you have. Mayors turning on the president who are now turning on governors. He's ripping this country apart by ignoring something that's vital to our national security.